So, good evening, everybody. I hope you all can hear and see us very well today. Just in case, yeah, you stumble into the wrong room, just FYI, this is Startup Grind Virtual Fireside Chat. Our guest today is the one and only Mr. Khoo. We're talking about next generation technology, specifically NFTs and Web3, and we'll contextualize it for Malaysia. Okay, but before we jump into everything, a bit of intro. So just a bit of info very quickly about Startup Grind, just so you have some background in. Yeah. So Startup Grind, we are the world's largest startup community where founders, innovators, creators, and experts from every industry come together. We have about 500 chapters worldwide, and our mission is to give startups everywhere the education and the opportunity to build, grow, and scale their companies, right? Now, the key thing about us is we believe in making friends, not contacts. We believe in giving first, not taking. We believe in helping others before helping ourselves because we strive to help all the founders, entrepreneurs, and startups succeed, regardless of wherever they might be or their socio-economic circumstance. We believe that a better tomorrow is possible by supporting the innovators and risk takers of today. And our community strives to be a safe haven for emerging startups that share our belief that a better future is on the horizon because we know that it's up to us to make it happen. Now, quick rundown of our team. We have two. One of us is Startup Grind Sarawak here. We have our director, Malcolm, our co-director, Kiman, who couldn't join us today. Jenny is also away. Then you also see Nigel and myself. The host for today will be handsome Mr. Nigel, yes? And we also have our KL team. Okay, we couldn't have pulled this off without their support. We have their director, Shabita, co-director and partner in crime, Richard, and of course, supported always by Wan Ning and Kimberlyn. Okay, that's all. Promise it would be short, and there you are, just about us. Now, with that, I think it's just about time for us to get into the thick of things. So, Nigel Curry, take it away. I leave the stage to you.
Thank you, Malcolm. Such kind. Thank you, Johan. Such kind words. Okay. Good evening, guys. Hope everyone is all right and relaxed. Our guest today is Mr. Khoo, an accomplished entrepreneur that has been working in the tech space for over a decade here in Southeast Asia. So, firstly, thank you, Curry. Thank you for your time. I understand you're a busy man. Greatly appreciated. So, okay. So, let's have a quick summary of your journey so that the audience can understand who you are, Harry, and what you've been up to these days.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Khoo from Malaysia, Penang. Basically, throughout my journeys, I've been doing a lot of things on tech startup related. A couple years back, I was very focusing very much on community buildings. So also part of startup grind, running various events, meetups, conference. And last year, I kind of decided to dive into Web3, basically things like metaverse, crypto, DeFi, NFT, DAOs, and others. So right now, I'm also part of this association called Access Blockchain. Basically, the idea is to go and support the local companies or communities towards blockchain and Web3. So that's me.
Okay. So you've just been in the whole tech scene, and then those cryptocurrency stuff came up, and then since then you've just been very immersed in this industry.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Just for everyone, for all the audience, just to let you know that there is a Q&A section, and while we will be covering a few topics, feel free to drop in any questions along the way. We'll be covering a few topics, general topics about NFTs and Web3, the startup understanding. So if you want us to dive deep in the topic, please submit your questions and we'll get Harry to answer it. Okay, so before we dive right into the topic of NFTs, I think it's important that we get everyone on the same page. So let's start with a quick intro to Web3. Harry, what is Web3?
Okay, So I think the questions always come with few things like what is Web 1, what is Web 2, and basically what's Web 3. So Web 1, on the early days when we have dial-ups, most of the informations are one-way through. Most of the times, users just go in and browse. I think during the times we have things like, Netscape, things like, Alta Vista and stuff. I think very, very old-fashioned HTML, very static. Then we have Web 2, which basically most of people's we all are so-called experience right now. Things like Facebook, things like Instagram, socials, YouTube kind of stuff. So have interactions, two-ways communications, kind of things. Then right now we are moving to the different Web 2 and Web 3 Web 2 are very centralized. It means that you go into Facebook, all your information belong to Facebook, so-called, right? Everyone know about it. Or you go to Instagram, whatever you post is belong to Instagram. Web 3, we're talking about decentralization, means the ownership of the information or data is always belong to the user itself. Like you can put it in a very simple way. How you look at it is, let's say, if Facebook is Web3, whatever you post, information, things over there, once you don't like, you disconnect, you can move to other platform, and the information will follow you to other platform itself. Information will never stay on Facebook at all. So that's basically what it's all about. So it's about decentralizations and information's data always belong to the user.
Right. So Web3 is a more decentralized platform compared to Web 1 and Web 2.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, do you think with how things are going that Web3 will be replacing Web 1 and Web 2, or do you think they will work in tandem?
Okay, I think in general, I think hardly Web ones are still exist in the market right now. I think mostly things we are seeing right now are Web 2. It's going to take a while for the transitions from Web 2 to Web 3, right? I think we can't run away from Web 3, right? You start to see that a lot of projects, a lot of startups, or even a lot of investments are going into Web 3. Like just today, right? One of the biggest VCs, BlackRock, just invest 400 million to set up a circle. Like so you can see that there's a lot of old traditional monies are putting into Web3. Right? But it's going to take a while. Even Facebook, they have so-called rebrand themselves into Meta, right? And Square, right, moving to called Blog, and we're going to see more and more Web 2 startups are moving to Web 3. They know that they can run away from that at all.
Right. Okay. So I think Web 1 and Web 2 will still be around for different purposes, and then Web 3 will be for different purposes. Okay. So then, how do cryptocurrencies and NFTs fit into Web 3?
Okay, so in general, basically, when it comes to all these technologies, it's basically a blockchain technology, right? And because of blockchain, this is where you have your cryptocurrency, decentralizations, and all the empowerments are towards to the user itself. And because of this particular blockchain, then we also have this thing called NFT, instead of non-fungible tokens, right? And because of these two, like it empower a lot more activities or features towards to Web3, right? By creating more decentralized events, games, decentralized autonomous organizations, and even things like DeFi, stand for decentralized finance, right? So basically, because of cryptocurrencies, metaverse, and also NFTs, is where we have Web3. And I mean, in general, without this, then we don't have Web3 kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. So I guess just to understand a little bit more, NFT is a non-fungible
Token.
non-fungible token, right? Okay. So how do they get made? What can be made into NFT?
So okay, so how do I put it? Right, so let's tell people like fungible tokens is like your, let's say, your crypto. So let's say you have one Ethereum. Your one Ethereum and my one Ethereum is always the same. There's always one Ethereum, right? There's no differentiate between that. right? Non-fungible token NFTs is basically that particular so-called tokens is totally unique, right? It's different, right? You can put it that like your so-called your digital certificates is always different. It's just like your ICs and my IC is always different kind of stuff, right? And because it's putting it on blockchain, so it means that it can't be changed. It's always there, I think. And for NFT, it can be anything because it's just a digital certificate that point to any media from text, photo, videos, or even link, anything at all. So a lot of people mistaken that NFTs are image, not really only image. It can be anything because it's a digital certificate.
Okay, so that means videos and all that can also be turned into NFTs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's say it seems to be the focus on pictures now. So let's say if I were to like make some NFTs, where would they? How do you start? Where would they be stored?
Okay. So right now, for so-called the world biggest NFT platforms are OpenSea, right? So with OpenSea, basically what you need to do is that you need to have a MetaMask, right? MetaMask to connect to OpenSea. From there, you can mint an NFT. Minting means that you're creating an NFT. To do that, you will need to either you have Ethereum or you can have polygons to do that. So both are your so-called cryptos, right? So basically, you need this crypto to create the NFT itself. And the process actually basically is very simple. You can do it within like 5 minutes. Because OpenSea have all the very nice interface, allow you to put in the information, put in the photo, video, whatever. Then click mint, then just create. That's all. Anyone can create NFTs.
Right. So from what I understand, I think you also need a wallet as well, right?
Yeah.
So then, is this wallet the same? Is the NFT wallet the same as crypto wallet?
Yeah. So basically, it's we call it your wallet, crypto wallet or NFT wallet. It's a wallet that stores the cryptocurrency, right? It's the same wallet that you want to keep your NFTs, even your metaverse or any things that related to Web3 stuff, right? And MetaMask is one of the mostly used and the most popular crypto. So it allows you to store your Ethereum, your Bitcoins, your polygons, and those popular cryptocurrencies. And beside MetaMask, there's also others, but MetaMask is the most popular and widely used.
Right. Okay. So with this all being decentralized, and then when you store it in your wallet, how secure is it? Like, can NFTs can it be stolen? There's been news, spread through social media about it, and can you help us understand to see whether these kind of NFTs can be stolen?
Okay, so in general, uh, the wallets can't be so-called hacked in general, but the hack usually happens because of human errors, such as you disclose your so-called your passwords, right? Or you have malware in your phones or in your laptops, right? You click other phishing websites, right? Or you click other links where your computers or your phones was infected by virus or that kind of stuff. And this is what usually happens to the wallet itself, right? And this is where most of the time we saw the case that the token or the NFT being so-called stolen usually because of this vulnerabilities. Not all, but most of the time it's human error and human issue.
Right. Okay. Okay. So in that sense, can NFTs be lost? Let's say someone steals it already, then are you able to trace back to where you can get it back from, or who took it?
So basically, no. So in general, because it's decentralization, so no one is holding or controlling. If example, like if I send you a token, right, basically it's one-way tickets. That's all. There's no way I can request to call it back. Or if I send you an NFT, the same thing. No ways I can record it back. If I mistakenly click a phishing website, and that website drain all my cryptos, all my so-called stuff, I just take it off kind of things. So I can't recover it back.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I think
Hopefully,
it's a bit noisy. Let me move out so it's a bit quiet because I'm in a restaurant. Really sorry about that.
no
I
worries.
think I'm
No
moving
worries.
outside will be a lot more better.
Sure.
Is it a lot more better right now, Nigel?
Yeah. It sounds better. Less disruption.
Less noise, right? Sorry, because I was in a restaurant just now. I was on a hotpot restaurant. My bad.
No worries. No worries. Can you hear me loud and clear over there?
Yes, loud and clear, loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I just want to understand a little bit more. So let's say if I were to get into NFTs, what does it cost to make an NFT? And do we need to use cryptocurrency to pay for it, or can we use real money to create my first NFT?
So right now, the most so-called popular network. So when you create a NFT, it got to be in a network. The most popular networks are Ethereum's network. So Ethereum's networks is a bit costly. Right now, I think the cost is about $16 USD right now to create one NFT. So you need to pay using Ethereum crypto. You cannot pay using credit cards or fiat. But at OpenSea, you have another solution, so-called options. It's called Polygon. Polygons are like, we call it, they are layer 2 EVM, stand for Ethereum Virtual Network, which costs less than 10 cents to create one NFT. So polygons are getting very, very popular. Last month, they raised 450 million from SoftBank, and they got a lot of features on it. So the so-called the trends are catching up towards to Polygon right now. So in a sense, you can create an NFT below 10 cents. But same, you need to use Polygon means that you got to use cryptocurrencies to mint your NFT.
Right. Okay. Let me see. I think we have some questions here.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from Sean Ho. As the world is slowly heading towards the metaverse, what current world applications that you feel will utilize the metaverse in the future, Malaysia and the rest of the world?
Okay, so when we talk about metaverse, basically we're talking things like, Ready Player Ones. We go into virtual worlds kind of things. And right now, the two most popular so-called metaverse are Decentraland and also Sandbox, right? So you can put it this way: Sandbox is like your Roblox or your Minecraft. They are still on alpha stage, but a lot of big brands already are taking parts into Sandbox, including HSBC, Snoop Dogg, Atari's kind of things. The questions are, why does all these big brands going towards to metaverse? It's very simple. It's like because all are towards to the user itself. Because the users, younger millennials, everything are moving towards to metaverse, right? Using Sandbox, using Decentraland. They know that this is going to be futures for them. It's basically marketing and branding. Hence, they are try to tap in as early as possible. So for things like Sandbox right now is one of the most popular. What you can do over there is basically first thing, you can buy the digital land. From the digital land, you can build your own cities. You can create a games. You allow your users to come in, play the games, and you can reward them, better user engagements kind of thing. And you still own the land, right? You still own the things that you built. Versus whatever advertisement you put on Facebook, you did not get whatever back. Facebook still charge you, and you do not own anything. I think that's the reason why a lot of people start to move to metaverse. You still own it. You see, that's the thing. You still own so-called the piece of the digital lens or the NFT lens kind of stuff. I think that's the reason. You ask me, I will buy it. Of course, I'm all out to all these things, and the millennials are and the new generations are moving towards this.
Okay, so it's more like a way to kind of protect or put some rights onto what you have kind of created in that sense, and with this platform. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, since yep.
So I was saying mostly people are using for marketing purpose right now, mainly for marketing purpose.
Mainly for marketing purposes. Okay.
Right now.
I've try to want to understand about NFT is how does an NFT become so valuable? Let's say if you were to buy land in the metaverse and all that, how how does it become so valuable, and how do these NFT collections and projects become worth so much money?
Because the first thing is it's limited. I think that's the thing. One thing's limited, the values basically increase. Secondly, it's because of the applications on top of it. Of course, NFT, it came into a lot of so-called type, right, and also purpose, right. So most of the NFT right now are so-called like a collections purpose, but some they have its own utilities, functions, kind of thing. Like give examples. Right now the most so-called popular NFT BAYC, Bought 8 Yacht Club. The monkeys, NFT, the single pictures kind of stuff, right? The cheapest I think will cost you about $1 million. No, $1 million, about $1 million, the cheapest one, right? But because it's limited to 10,000, right? It's an IP, celebrities, heavy kind of stuff. So a lot of people buy it because like a bragging right, like just like why people wear, Supreme t-shirts, or they buy Rolex, or they buy Ferrari, Porsche, right? It is to flex, right? It's a bragging right. Secondly, it's BAYC. You already told you, right? It's a Bought 8 Yacht Club. It's an exclusive club. So when they do events, activities, if you have the NFT, you have the access in. If you don't, you can't go into the exclusive events and stuff. And right now, BAYC just announced that they are moving into metaverse, also creating an animated series using the NFT itself, right? Mean if you own the BAYC, you can bring your NFT for auditions. If you're selected, if it make money, you are a piece of the cake. Right? Can you see what's going on, right? If the movie become very hot, very popular, right? Because it's owned by all superstars, right? Eminem have it, Justin Bieber have it, Snoop Dogg have it. It become a, let's say, big hit. You got piece of the cake, right? Kind of stuff. So so this is how the value is going. It's an entertainment right now.
Okay.
So that's
You
BAYC.
Okay. There's one thing also I want to understand. It's like you mentioned, like Justin Bieber and all these kind of people. They are getting into the metaverse as well. And we also have a question from Jason Anthony over here. And I think when like all these it's a way to protect your IP, right? In a way, or it's like in a way your own IP once it's in there. So Jason is asking, how different are NFTs compared to traditional IPs like copyrights and patents like that?
Okay, so so in a way, it's like you're putting things online, you're putting things on digitally, and you easily for you to transfer ownership versus the traditional so-called IP or copyrights kind of things, right? Like give examples, right? Let's say you are an artist, right? You draw one nice particular logos or anything, right? You want to go through your IPs or copyright, you got to do from one country to another country. Filing it itself going to cost you a lot of time and very much consuming and also a lot of money. And if you want to transfer, it's not as easy as it is. So because of NFT itself, right, it makes things a lot more easier. You go in and you just mint, right? And you just go in and you promote, and everyone knows about it, right? And it's easy for you to transfer from one user to another user itself. Of course, there's pro and cons because of these things. In general, everyone can just go in and create their particular NFTs. So right now we see a lot of issue. People say that whatever I drawn, someone steal it, because you can right click, copies the image, go to OpenSea and just literally mint it kind of stuff. So end of the day, as an artist or as a designer, you need to build your reputations, right? Build your accounts, and whatever you do, you just like mint it over in your particular account kind of thing. Building reputations is very important. Hope that answered the questions. Yeah, if not, just let me know. Then I'll try to add on these kind of things.
Yeah. I hope that answers. If not, feel free to ask to clarify a little bit more.
Yeah. Just in case, I'll overrun the questions, guys. Thing.
Okay. So let's say is there a way to identify good NFT projects and the ones that are like scams or like rug pulls? Like how do you identify
Wow,
one?
well, it's getting a bit harder and harder. Very open and honest with you guys, right? There's a lot of very nice and interesting projects, and then it's become rug pull because so-called the conmen are getting more and more smarter, right? We've seen a couple of very nice, interesting projects, sold out kind of things, and then it become rug pull. So I'll be honest, it's not easy to identify because crypto Web3 are still wild west, right? A lot of case, the creators are anonymous, right? The teams are also anonymous. Sometimes you heard the words called anon, stand for anonymous kind of thing. So it's always good, do a bit research, right? Understand a little bit, whether they are linked to, some other projects, prominent project, or are they backed by bigger boys, or kind of things. So usually it will take a while for you to go through, and to make sure that it's not a rug pull. But I say it's very very hard to say right now, right, to identify. Or you go to OpenSea, look for the one with the blue tick. Look for the one with the blue tick.
So blue tick
Which
means
usually
very
going, yeah, but usually that one's going to be very expensive, lah. Yeah.
of course. Okay, so let's say for example, someone like me who I am not very familiar with NFTs and but interested to get into it, what should someone learn about NFTs before diving deep into it? What's a good resource for the regular person like me?
So actually, a lot of informations are on the web right now, right? You can go, you Google it out. There's a lot of videos on YouTube also, and then this is also the reason why we are building the community through assets blockchain, and also the reasons why we try to participate as many as events such as Startup Grind to help to educate to the markets and things towards to this so-called crypto or Web3 world kind of stuff, right? So like says, it's still Wild Wild West. Informations are all around, so we just need to be very, very careful going through all these information kind of things. Do your, like I say, I always tell people, do your own research, and stay vigilant towards this. Particularly, most important thing is that when it's too good to be true, basically it's a scam.
Right. So then, how
Yeah.
do we know? I guess we will just have to understand it a little bit more to say like before we kind of realize it's a scam lah. Then let's say if businesses were to consider getting into these Web3 and NFTs, what should they need to know as an organization in relation to Web3 and NFTs?
So I think first things they need to understand about the decentralization part, right? It means like first thing you need to set up your crypto wallet, your MetaMask, right? Then secondly, is like you need to get your Ethereum or your Polygons to get you keep starting it. Third is basically going to OpenSea because they are the biggest marketplace right now. And fourth, looking into what kind of project or what kind of budgets that you are looking at, because like BAYCs, cost as expensive as 200,000 over USD to get one, or some of the local project which can get as low as even like $10 or $20 to get kickstarted with it.
Right.
And so again, I say you need to do a lot of research on that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you also require a bit of technical IT skills in order to understand it in that sense.
Yeah, right
So
now, yeah, because it's still very at a very early stage. A lot of technical side you still need to get involved with. Usually, getting started with the wallet usually is one of the biggest so-called challenges for anyone to go into so-called Web3.
okay. So in a business sense, is it better for businesses to upskill their existing employees or source new talent for Web3 capabilities?
Yes, definitely, but I'll be very open and honest with everyone's listeners out here. It's not easy to get into Web3, right? The barrier entry is a little bit high, but it's still a very good time to go in right now. If you look at so-called hiring or whatever kind of stuff, Web3s are very highly demanded, right? And pays are really good also when it comes to Web3.
Right. Okay. Okay, I think now that we have a better general idea of Web3 and NFTs, let's talk about it in Malaysia's context. Okay,
Mm.
so firstly, like what's happening in the local tech space right now in regards of Web3 and NFTs?
Or crypto. So in Malaysia right now, cryptos are legal. Everyone need to understand that crypto are legal. There's 4 companies are regulated under security commissioners. So it fall under digital assets. 4 the companies are Luno, Tokenize, Synergy, and MX Global. Right. So means basically you can buy Bitcoin or Ethereum through either one of these companies. Right. Legals means that it's legal. You got to pay tax kind of stuff. Secondly, mining cryptos are also legal in Malaysia. It's legal, right? Even TNB right now are coming up special rates for people are doing crypto mining. Previously, we saw most of the news. These people they steal electricity. That's why they got caught, right? Stealing is always wrong, kind of thing. For local scenes, you'll be surprised that there's at least 6 NFT platforms, marketplace in Malaysia. One of the most popular one right now are Pentas, which are using BSC networks. Then we have another one called NFT Pangolins. They are rising up very fast because they are part of MyEG. I think last weekend you have one by Minted. Then there's a few more. So locals are coming up a lot of these particular NFT marketplace and platform. And we are talking about locals. There's a handful popular NFT artists, such as Hongi. I think everyone know about Hongi. She sold for a couple millions. Then Kenji, then cartoons. I think recently No Face by Drew, right? Being caught a lot of news attention kind of stuff. So what I like about NFT or Web3, it gave our local artists on a global stage, right? An opportunity to go globally. So this is something that we are very excited about it.
Nice, nice. So then you mentioned that these local companies that have already been starting on it, what do they do exactly, and how does the product or service help? Like, are they the middle person, or do they help these kind of artists to put their things out there, or can you do it individually?
So so some they have you can go and open corporate accounts. They can come. They'll handhold you to do from step 0 to 1, right? And you also can do everything on your side, DIY, log into the web and do the whole thing. The interesting things about this local company is that because if you go to OpenSea, it's global. So there's a lot of noise over there, right? You are competing with the 10 or 100 or thousands others NFT artists. But with local, some of these so-called platform is curated, right? And sometimes you want to transfer, like say, your ringgits to Bitcoin to Ethereums, right? A lot more easier. I think because it's regulated by security commissioners and stuff. So especially with a company, right? You need to do your taxing, your tax filing kind of stuff. So definitely doing through these ways is better for the company also. You got to pay tax, right? Got to pay tax. Remember, everyone got to pay tax.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So then, would you say that most of the industries now are already looking into getting into like the Web3 and the NFTs, or would they still be more like adopting a wait and see approach?
I think the scene are still very new. There's a lot of hype about it, right? But it's still very new towards this thing. And the technologies are there, but not yet matured. We yet see the full-fledged features of Web3s or cryptocurrency yet, right? I felt there's still a lot of space opportunity to go in, but just need to be very, very careful when you're going through these things because during this kind of stage right now, we will not know what will make it and what will break it also. And as everyone know, cryptocurrencies are very volatile, right? Within 1 day, it can shoot up high, or it can go down 20 to 30%, or even go down to whatever kind of stuff, right? So again, you got to do your research, right? Going through, you must know your risk, you must know, what is the things that you are heading to. But definitely, like it or not, it's the future, right? And I think there's still a lot of companies are looking into what is the potential or the possibilities using Web3 to help their companies to grow or to scale. There's still a lot of discussions talking about it.
It sounds like it's still very raw. Like it's still very raw.
Very raw. Very raw. Very wild,
But
wild west. Not raw, very wild, wild west.
okay. So since it's so raw, and then there's such a growing interest in it, where people from music to finance looking into it, is the government doing anything with Web3? If yes, what are they doing? If not, what should they be doing?
Okay, so right now for Malaysia's, as I mentioned, right, it fall under security commissioners, right? They already give 4 license, right, for, we call it the exchanges, right? Synergy, Tokenize, Luno, and MX Global. And recently, SC also announced this thing called IEO, Initial Exchange Offerings, means you can go so-called create your tokens, right, and sell your tokens up to 100 million ringgit. Imagine that. So they 2 licenses was given, once to Pitchins and once to Capital DX. So these 2 companies right now have 9 months to build and to showcase all this kind of stuff. And governments, there's a lot of engagements talking about it, but they got to take it step by step kind of stuff, because decentralization, wild west, a lot of things they can't control about it, which good and bad, right? If you can't control it properly, those bad actors came in, especially scam money games, a lot of people is going to lose their money. So governments, banks, all the kinds of are quite worried when it comes to these particular parts, especially scam and money game.
Right. Okay. So then, in a business context now, right? How are Web3 and NFTs changing businesses in Malaysia right now? How are they benefiting
Um,
from it?
so what I see right now is, right, for some of the retail companies, what they try to do is they try to embrace this particular NFT to help the company's branding and sales, right? Because you see, the younger generations, they like to see things moving, right? They like to see things fast. And Web3s or NFT allow them to do that. And they like to have ownerships and to do transfers. I give you examples. Most of the so-called retailers, when they're learning NFT as their so-called like the clubs, right? Or your specials, exclusive card members kind of things, right? Normal exclusive card members, like you can't transfer, right? It's very difficult. But with NFTs, the transfers are so easy, right? Like example, like I can literally sell you that on an X amount. You like it, you pass me the money, you pass me the crypto. I just literally transfer to you. Everything's can be done, just like minutes kind of things. And immediately you can go to the retailers and show them, so this is an NFT that I have. Then they can give it 10 or 20% kind of stuff, right? The new generations, they like to see things fast and immediate. And this is what Web3 is able to give compared to Web2.
Okay. I mean, you mentioned about ownership and all that. I think Jason also has another question with regards to ownership. So he's asking, the primary owner or creator still retain the ownership to the NFT? Is it a one-to-one transaction, or is it a shared ownership?
So this is a very interesting question. One thing about NFTs, right? Like I mentioned, it's just a digital certificate. So the creator are the one who determine rules and regulations towards to the NFT, right? Some NFTs, they can be so-called full IP. Some is not. Some even have a loyalty on top of it, right? You just put it this way, just like how you buy buy shirts. Like example, like I bought a shirt, right? A Lego shirt, but doesn't mean I own Lego's IP. I just own the shirt. I just own the product for me to wear. Same thing like if you buy a CD or music, you can listen it, but you don't have the right to sell or even to put it to public. So each of the NFTs, as a creator, yeah, you can set the rules, right? You are the one who determine. You are the one in control.
Right. So if you were to share it, then it will be something that they would have to purchase in order to have the understanding to access it, lah.
Correct. Now some NFT grant you a full IP, means like you bought the NFT, you own the NFTs, you can print it and you can resell it.
I see.
So it's
So
very
then in
interesting. I
that,
tell you, it's very, very interesting.
okay, so then in that sense, right, if you were to buy the full rights like that, so the person that created that NFT, will they still retain the rights in that sense?
So in general, when it comes to these parts, when they put it there, no, the creator don't have the right, but usually the creator will put it, we call it loyalty. Means that every time you do, automatically because it's on blockchain, you'll get certain X amount of loyalty. That's a very interesting part. That's a real reason why a lot of creators are moving towards the NFT.
Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. So that means like music artists, if they were to put in their music there and all that, then they have a way to control their copyright and control their access to all these kind of things as well.
Yes, yeah. Every time it sell or we call it flip, automatically the creators will get X amounts of loyalty that he or she set automatically.
Right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So then, what are some of the more practical ways you would expect NFTs to be used in? Like, which industries in Malaysia you think could benefit quickly from a good NFT program?
So right now, what we see right now in Malaysia are basically more towards on the artist side, the art and designers. A lot of artists are moving to NFTs, like to create their NFT artworks. Secondly, will be games. You'll be surprised. Game and entertainment is going to be one of the next biggest thing when it comes to NFTs. There's a handful games company in Malaysia. They are moving. We call it Game 5. Basically, it's game plus NFT, and they are moving very very fast in the scene nowadays.
Right. Then so far you predict that it will be heading towards this direction. Like so far it's arts kind of area, and then and then slowly moving towards games and all that.
Yeah,
Uh,
and of course, I want to talk about metaverse, right? There's also a handful companies in Malaysia why they are preparing to going into metaverse also.
Right. Right. Okay. So then with what's going on now and how it's still so raw compared to what cryptocurrency is now. I mean, cryptocurrency was also very raw when it came out, and also very, I would say, uh, unpredictable. So, do you think with NFTs, do you think it's just like a bubble, or will NFTs eventually just like fade away, or is it here to stay?
Definitely, NFT are here to stay, right? But again, the hype is a bit over, but there's still a lot of space for the hype also. So definitely a lot of projects going to die off. I guarantee you that a lot of projects going to die off, right? A new project is going to come in, but those are strong, they will still be remain, and that one's going to be getting more and more expensive. Things like DAYCs and stuff. Definitely those like we call it blue chip NFTs. That one definitely is going to be getting stronger. But new players is going to be in out until the whole things get stable down.
Okay. So then, let's say right now all these images and all these pictures they're worth so much money, and then because this is what the current property of NFT is, so when they move towards a different thing like gaming and all that, will the value of the previous pictures, will that still be worth as much as the trend moves to a different direction?
Or when it moves, because it's still decentralized, means whether the image, whatever the NFT are still on the blockchain. Basically, what it does, it increase the value because it increase the utility itself. It creates more function. When an image have more functions, features means the value increase.
Oh, interesting, very interesting.
It just
So
imagines like
is
your phone, like your phone have more features. Basically, your phone are getting more expensive, right? From 3 cameras to 4 cameras, that is get more expensive, right? Same thing with the NFT itself.
okay, I get it, get it. So then, okay, what kind of industries do you think will benefit from these kind of approaches like NFT and Web3? You know,
Right now, the one I see immediately is basically entertainment. If you're into entertainments, right, basically you can't run away. You literally want to go in as soon as possible. Entertainments, we're talking things like arts, designs, creative, musics, movies, kind of stuff, right? You want to go into NFTs.
Okay, okay. One thing I've also tried, been always wanting to understand is that like
Mm.
for a picture, right? Let's say the Mona Lisa has been converted into NFTs, and then it says that you own the rights to this picture. So then, how does that relate to the real world versus the metaverse in terms of copyright and
Mm.
access?
So there's a lot of discussions when it comes to about how do you bridge a traditional so-called artworks or items to NFT. Like I mentioned, NFT is just like your digital certificates. So you imagine, let's say Nigel, you own a Mona Lisa's pictures, and you also own the NFT coming together. If someone stole the real Mona Lisa pictures, they can't sell it because the NFT, it can steal from you, right? It still belongs to you. So it's basically a worthless piece of pictures because
Okay.
you have the NFT. So anyone who want to buy the real physical image, that buyer also want the NFT itself. So do you see that how NFTs are helping on the physical items? Put it this way,
Okay.
it's our digital certificates. Ah,
I see it now. Okay, so then, for example, let's say if the Mona Lisa, please pardon my lack of knowledge in this, but let's say the Mona Lisa gets stolen, right? And then um someone has the rights to the NFT for all of this. Will they need to contact this person who has the rights to the NFT in order to reprint or maybe to try to recreate something similar to the closest thing?
so again, because it's on blockchain, right? You can't, recreate the same NFT again, right? Because it's always unique kind of thing. So if the picture gets stolen, it basically gets stolen, but the NFTs were still with the so-called the current owners.
Okay,
So
okay.
give me another example. Let's say we move these NFTs towards to every iPhone. So you imagine let's say Apple decided to NFT each of the iPhone. If anyone who bought an iPhone, it came in with the NFT. And when you sell your iPhones, you must together so-called transfer the NFT. If this start to happen, no one would dare to steal the iPhone anymore because if any iPhone that you steal, you can't sell it because it got to come with the NFT transfer from the previous owner to the new owner.
Wow, okay. Well,
Do you see it?
changes.
Do you see it? Do you see
I
it?
see it now.
Do
I
you see
see it now.
the possibilities, right? You
Yeah,
see the
yeah,
possibilities of it, right? Because I told you already, creating NFT right now is damn cheap. It costs you less than 10 cents to create one NFT right now. It's not cheap. It's a
Okay,
digital
okay.
certificate and it's easily transferred. You see, that's the thing. It's so easily to transfer right now. It's fully
Wow.
decentralized.
So I think the advantage is the fact that is fully decentralized, so it's so accessible
Correct.
for everyone for these kind of things.
Yeah.
Um, I actually have another question from Sean Ho. It says he asking, do you foresee Malaysians creating NFT projects in the near future as surrounding countries such as Singapore, Indonesia are establishing top tiered projects?
So right now, Southeast Asians are quite in a hot stage when it comes to NFTs or GameFi kind of things, right? From Malaysia, there's already a handful of projects doing NFTs. Singapore's, I think, Vietnam's are very hot. Everyone know Axie Infinity's Sky Maybes are from Vietnam's, which basically their biggest user base are from Philippines. Although recently they got 620 million hacked, yet Binance pumping 150 millions to cover some of the losses and slowly to see what else they can do about it. And in normal business, if you got hacked with 620 millions, you are ready to close it down, right? But they know they are not closing down, they're getting stronger, and investors are coming in, are putting money like nobody business. So
Amazing. So
Southeast
that's
Asia, guys, Southeast Asia is
the
crazy. It's crazy. When it comes to NFTs and Web3, it's damn crazy.
That's so good to hear. So in Malaysia sense, should Malaysia be looking outward for Web3 expertise, or should they build
Uh,
up locally, internally, or a bit
so
of both?
right now, not only Malaysia, I think most countries are lack of Web3 developers. So, I mean, like it or not, right? We are lack of talents. We got to build it, right? The talents, right? We got to, start to do a lot of trainings, workshops, building the local talents. Every countries are doing that right now also. Have to, you can't run away. The demands are so high right now. The demands are so high.
Right. Are there any specific groups in Malaysia that are doing a good job building up local expertise?
I think there's a handful of them. Like, I'm not sure most of you guys know, but Etherscan and CoinGecko's are Malaysian company. Both are started in KL. Etherscans and and CoinGecko. And if you look at their web, they are hiring and their pay are pretty good. They do a lot of events, meetup, and workshop also.
So then they would be. That means Malaysia is quite not bad in that sense. Leading with
Malaysians are
Malaysia.
pretty good. You'll be surprised. Malaysians are pretty good. There's a handful very interesting projects came from Malaysia. Very interesting project. Very good project. You'll be surprised. Malaysia are pretty good. I'm very happy with Malaysia, to be honest. I'm very happy with Malaysia's talent. Every
Very
time I
good,
go out, when I show people I know, I told them I know. I know CoinGecko. So a lot of people are like, seriously, shit. Yeah, I say CoinGeckos are from Malaysia. Bobby and TM. Right? Etherscans, Matthew. No jokes. KL boy.
Oh, nice. So does that mean that it doesn't matter where you are geographically, you can just kind of just create, or does where you're at, like the countries,
It doesn't really,
doesn't matter, is it?
it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you build an awesome product, people will knocking your door. Like MX, right? They got their license less than a year, but they got invested by Binance. Binance put into the company less than a year. No joke.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
Okay. I think there's so much we can talk about, but I think we're just
Yes,
running out of time. But I mean, I think the 1 hour just flew by so quickly. But I think before we end, I think we kind of covered what we intended to cover, and I think that I'm sure people would still have a few more questions, and I think we have one more question. I think we still have time for one
Yeah.
more. Okay. So
One more question. Like one last question.
yeah, one last question. Okay. Seeing as it's from Jason Anthony, seeing as it's still decentralized, who enforces the ownership of NFT projects? Is a digital certificate legally enforceable?
Yes, basically yes. Right, because it's on the blockchain, right? There's a lot of so-called discussions talking about it, right? I think a lot of lawyers and IPs, lawyers also taking this NFTs quite seriously, and even like you can put it to use it as a court case because whatever transaction and whatever record are on the public blockchain itself and things. So, like, give me example. Let's say I created an NFTs, right? Then I sold it to you, right? If someone steal it from your side, right, and if that person try to sell it on secondary markets and someone, manage capture that, caught that person, basically we can bring it to the court because everything's are on the public blockchain itself. Transactions, everything's are over there, kind of things. That's pretty dangerous. A lot when people say that, Web3 or crypto you can use for money laundering. No, actually, basically, you can't really do that because everything's are on public blockchain. I can trace it back. As long as you keep it, you don't use it, then it's fine. But there's no purpose, right? There's no use, right? You keep it. But once you start to use it, you go to the retails, then this is where two of the hackers got caught, right? On the one of the biggest hackers for the exchange. They got caught because they tried to spend their cryptos on the retails and link it back to their wallet, and they can't argue about that, right? They can't argue about it.
Yeah,
it's all on the public. It's all on public blockchain. Imagine that.
I think that's a good thing in a way for the trust of people. And let's say you can't, even if you want to try to scam, you can still trace it back to who was the scammer.
Yeah. So like previously, there's couple of hack. What happens? Everyone's locked down the particular address to hack that particular exchange, and basically whatever, no one want to touch it at all. So basically they have the tokens, but they can't use it at all. No one will able to accept it. It's just like blacklisted lah. We just blacklisted that particular wallet, whatever they're trying to do.
Right. Okay. We have a comment from Dennis Chiu. He said there will be a traceable audit trail of all the cryptos or currency trade or transfer. Okay.
Yes, it's on the public. It's on the public blockchain. This is what it is
Thank you,
gonna do,
Daniel.
right?
Okay. So before we end this, what we always do is we always have like a rapid fire question before closing. So basically, it's just like either or, Okay. So before we end this, we'll just do this rapid fire question, and then we'll end the session. Okay. So
Okay,
Harry,
cool. Let's do that.
okay. So don't think, just answer. Okay. So Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Ethereum.
Ethereum, Android or iOS?
iOS.
Marvel or DC?
I'm a DC guy.
Laptop or tablet?
Tablet.
Okay. Which is more Malaysian, nasi lemak or teh tarik?
Nasi lemak, of course.
Nice. Okay. I think that pretty much sums up our session tonight. Thank you, Kari. Thank you for your time. And if anyone
Welcome.
is interested, such a pleasure. I think we can talk next time. But if anyone would like to follow up with the Kari, you can contact him at twitter.com/Khoo. I will put it in the general section there. And then thank you again, Kari. We hope that you guys.
Welcome. Have a good night. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.